It's time for AI News, brought to you by AIAW Podcast.
Anyone wants to start?
I think based on where we were when we talked about the AI Safety Summit, there was a good news story that I think fits well into this, that we can start with yours.
Like you said, and continue talking about trustworthy AI afterwards. I'm all about trustworthy AI, right? So that's the only thing I listen to the news. And this is also 1, 2, 3, 4 different things. But I guess what I would say is important is last week. It was a big week in the world of AI safety, not only the AI Safety Summit in the UK that we just talked about, and the Bletchley Declaration that was signed by 28 countries, big sign of commitment and focus. Yeah, exactly. That was companies and countries, representatives from 28 countries, but it was more signatures, I guess. We also had, that same week, we had Biden signing the executive order in the US, which is, basically the first thing that has the force of a law related to AI. So it's a big thing. It's a broad thing as well, covering a lot of different things. And like I told you, we have for the data ethics practice where I now work nowadays.
Data is a part of SAS, right?
SAS, exactly. And that's my team, basically. Our vice president and my manager, Reggie Townsend, was actually there for the signing of the executive order. Cool. So that was a big thing to me. And he was sending, live updates in our Teams chat.
The executive order that was, was it in the White House then?
It was in the White House.
And your manager basically was there? Or?
Yeah, it was there, like standing, right
listening
in front
to Biden,
of the... Yeah, really close by. We got pictures of close-ups. And I guess, he's...
How cool.
That is cool. Yeah, and the reason is Reddy is also, Biden has a national AI advisory committee that is advising him on AI, which is a big thing. I think we should have that.
Something we should have in Sweden as
well. And your boss is part of that?
My boss is one of those in that committee. So that's why he was there when the signing was.
So leading up to how they have framed the executive order and what it entails with how they want to direct it to their different departmental agencies and stuff like that. So your boss has been part of...
He's been part of
revision
that
process to get to
I don't know exactly what he's done in the process, but he's definitely, has one foot in that door.
Foot in the door of the lobby.
Yeah, definitely. So that was one big thing for me, I think. And then it was quite funny because it was like everything happened last week. So this was on a Monday, and the Bletchley Park signing was on Wednesday. So he sort of sneaked in before. And then on the same day, also Monday, there was... that G7 countries agreed on a voluntary code of conduct for AI, which was also a big thing because it's also a worldwide thing, right? And acknowledging that things need to be taken into account in the world of AI at this point, even though we don't have regulations in place, they are, agreeing on certain commitments. So that was a big thing as well. And
I love the executive order also did the same thing, including the top tech giants. I think it was like 15 tech giants, the Googles, the OpenAI, AIs,
important organizations,
all the NVIDIAs, and I think so many other of the top AI companies were there as well. And I think if you don't have this kind of global kind of agreement, some people will be getting caught in the AI race.
But this is such a big topic, so let's not take it in the news section, but let's go back to this particular topic because there are so many angles here that are super important. How this relates to then EU regulation and EU Act. I think this is more important. So there are so many angles so let's continue with the news and then we take this deeper because this is a key topic.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so I can go next after that. So thanks for that was the AI trustworthy AI news. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go with the Elon Musk story. Anyone who has been following this podcast know, we had Moduli making even a word cloud. How many times have you said Elon Musk on the show? So of course we need to have an Elon Musk's news when it's there, and it's of course, it doesn't say. XAI debuts Grok. It says Elon Musk debuts Grok. So this is the AI bot to rival ChatGPT and others. And of course, it's AI, former Twitter, that is coming out with their model. And of course, it's, in the press release, it sort of highlights that, Grok, the company said it has been modeled on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It has to have its same width. So this is sort of a language model that's supposed to be a little bit funny, a little bit quirky in terms of how it answers. And of course, that's like, it's so Elon Musk, who has fart sounds in his car,
Does he?
Yeah. If you read his biography, you can kind of see he has his super side and he has his silly side. What else can we say about this? Well, it's coming out of this, and it's the first beta release or alpha release. It's quite narrowly released in the beginning now. Who can try it out? Has anyone even tried it yet? I don't think it's quite narrow yet.
It's open to small.
Yeah.
Only open
Number of people.
And of course it's using the data from Twitter, of course.
Yeah. So it really has real-time access to data in a way that no other large language model have today.
So what can we summarize, which is quite unique? I mean, like it's this language model based on Twitter that is a quite interesting angle.
Yeah, and
right?
I think they created the company XAI rather short, not that long ago. I think it was like 2-3 months ago.
Of course, immediately after he proposed that we should have like a paper when we say slow down AI so I can catch up, all of
Now it comes
Are
out.
you saying he has double standards?
I say that all the time. I'm sure that's the reason he wants to stop.
slow down, so Grok can come out.
In XAI, he bought like 10,000 H100 GPUs or something.
the next day, immediately.
But is there anything else we can comment on that? Sort of.
I think the performance of that was kind of surprising, given that they, I think, according to themselves, have trained only for 2 months, and they're releasing it very, very quickly. If it's true or not, I'm not sure, but potentially they train it for a very short period of time, and
It's trained on Twitter data or X.
more than traded Twitter data, but certainly on Twitter as well. But it's not that big. If I recall correctly, I think it's like 33 billion parameters, which is much more than GPT-3 was, and certainly much more than GPT-4. And still, it was surprisingly good. Not beating GPT-4, because that's still in a lead in so many ways, but it's surprisingly good given the small size of the model. And that's impressive. And I'm sure that in coming months, we will see upcoming releases and iterations on this that will be really impressive. We'll see.
Yeah, and just the trivia here. Grok. What is Grok? Grok. What's that name? And this is so Elon Musk. So Grok is a term coined by Robert A. Heinlein in his 1961 science fiction novel Stranger in a Strange Land. In the book, Grok is a Martian term with no direct Earthling translation. So Grok is a Martian word, and we don't really know what it means. That's Elon Musk.
Yes, and he made it funny.
Yeah, of
which
course.
means equal to a lawsuit.
Yeah. He doesn't got it.
Yeah, I saw some output. He asked the model to.
You remember when Microsoft took down this chatbot?
The Tay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in the press release here, the joke is even on CNBC. So the example was what happens if you ask Grok how do you cook up cocaine? Of course, I can help you with this, and he gives you a bullshit answer, and then says in the end, "I'm just kidding," So
Please don't make cocaine or something.
so it's not like politically correct anywhere.
I mean, I saw something. It asked it to please roast the biggest news magazines in the US or something, and it started to give
Happily
really
roasted.
harsh comments about it.
But I can see how many who are so tired of all the politically correct things would kind of.
I would say it like this: let him release it. Just release it to everybody, and then count days before he's going to get a lawsuit.
But he knows that, and he's gonna put that on the marketing account, my friend. He's gonna put this is the best marketing he can have, right?
Yeah. That's why he went to Joe Rogan basically to promote it as well. Good stuff. Let's move on.
Good. Let's move on. I'll give the stage to you, Anders. You had several.
Yeah, but I'll take the biggest one, of course.
And one more question. So if you're talking about trustworthy AI, he took over Twitter because it was not trustworthy, right?
According to him, yes.
Yes.
According to
And then you train data an AI model on top of something that you said that it was not trustworthy? And
but
biased?
he removed all the bots and all the bad
He
hateful
removed all the
speech.
employees, and with that all
Yes.
I see.
It's fun. Anyway, it shakes up the world a bit.
Yeah,
with
it's
Elon
fun.
Musk's
It's
world. Okay, so one other really big thing happening this week was that OpenAI had their developer conference on Monday, called Dev Days or something, and they released a large number of new features. So one of the big thing was the new GPT-4 model called GPT-4 Turbo. And sorry, my throat is a bit poor. But one of the things is it's much bigger context window on this one. So instead of 8,000 tokens, it's like 128,000.
So now you can put the whole book in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 300 pages or something,
Yeah.
text in a single context.
In single prompt. Wow.
And I think that there was a 38 or 32K context that some people have access to on GPT-4, but this is 128K, is more than any other model have, and it's a really big thing. They also reduced the prices significantly, like 2 or 3 times of the previous prices, so it's much cheaper now. Still not that cheap. If I think it was like 1 cent per token or something, so if you take like 128,000 tokens,
It's still some money.
and then 1 cent per token is like $1,000 per prompt. That's not cheap.
No.
No, but now you can really have you can kind of have all the data you really need as a way to steer the chat to one particular content, in order to really steer the accuracy and quality. So it's a huge thing, of course.
I'm not sure about the prices. It sounds far too expensive still to me. But still, the comparison to the traditional GPT-4 is like 2 or 3 times cheaper.
But could you a little bit elaborate how big deal this is to go to 100? Like this whole token thing that you really can put the whole thing in it.
Yeah.
It really opens up.
I don't think that's the proper solution going forward a bit. I think you need to have another way to input data, but they actually do that as well. But of course, having a big context makes everything super more simple.
Yeah.
You can just put, the last thing you spoke about in the same context, and you don't need to do anything else. And that makes things very simple. But it's not a truly scalable thing. But what they have done more, if we go to that, is even more impressive, I think. So one of the things they do is they create GPTs, basically allowed to
That I heard, yeah.
Yeah, so like custom GPT. So you can train your own GPT and publish it. So they have like a GPT builder, like a graphical interface for that. Also like an API. So you can do this from an API point of view to train your own GPT. But then you can have your own custom instruction as you can for the GPT and say, now you're supposed to be a podcast host and speak in that and that way. You can also upload data. So you can have like a big text file with all the things that Henrik and I have said throughout the 100 podcasts. And then, use
So
that.
it has the same style.
Yes, and use the information that we specifically said, even though it wasn't fine-tuned on our output, I don't think. We can then add whatever data we want and make it use that data when generating the output. So then it can, replace me and Henrik and just output in a much better way, probably.
No,
So put all your mail conversations in there and make him
But it's like
write like you.
Yeah. So let us put it like this: McKinsey and the other guys, they're trying to start build their own language model, right? So I want to build a system that is the AI advisor. Let's call it Josephine, right? And then I input all the articles that you have written, all the things that you believe on this, and then basically you can have Josephine on your shoulder now. And what is crazy is that with the GPT builder, literally, I can go and build a Josephine chatbot, scanning all the articles and everything that is built on whatever IP that you have, or So you could in minutes take the whole whatever you have in all your models in SAS and build that chatbot yourself with clicks. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
And it's quite crazy.
It is that, and then it basically means you can create your custom GPT model. And they also going to do like a GPT store, similar to the App Store. They're going to have a marketplace where customers are going to publish their own GPT assistant. And then people can buy it, and you will get a revenue share. Of course, OpenAI will keep one big part. We don't know how much, but still, you can make money from building your own GPTs. That's a big thing. What they also claim is they are not taking the full step to an autonomous agent. So they're saying this is one step towards having truly autonomous agents where they actually take action themselves, but they don't want to release it too quickly because they think potentially it can be a bit harmful. But they still want to make the market of a lot of GPTs out there so people understand what they can do.
Very generous.
Yes.
Very smart because it's an app store. Apple is generous that we can have all these apps, but they're at the same time making a hell of a lot of money on it.
It's the most expensive one, like 30% of everything that you do.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Altman, he actually built the GPT on stage live.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he basically took a text file with all the advice that is given for startups. He worked at Y Combinator before, so he has given a lot of advice to startups. So he just put that file in there. He gave some custom instructions. He created this new model, and then he can ask questions. And any kind of startup founder can just go there. How should I hire people? What should I think of building this kind of business model? And
the startup helper.
Cool.
Built in minutes on stage.
And you don't need to be a programmer to do so.
No.
Exactly.
I have to watch that recording.
That is what I was waiting for you to say, actually. Because the whole point of this is actually it's aligned with their commitment to democratize AI and expand its practical capabilities. That is how the whole thing is actually structured, why they are actually doing this. By doing this, they're killing also thousands of companies that in March build plugins that you can put on top of.
Did they kill the plugin market?
Yeah, of course.
They killed the plugin market.
So
right?
only a month ago, so if you wanted to basically use ChatGPT on let's say a PDF, you need to use one of the plugins, and some of them cost, some of them were free. And in order to do that, you need to upload basically the PDF, to the third-party web page, and then take the information. The ChatGPT takes the information from there. Now, this is not possible anymore. Now you can upload any type of a file in ChatGPT, and you can ask any question that you want, which is super great, super dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So like, here's my database, let me know who is my next buyer, and then you know what is happening on that. But it's very, very interesting. And also we know a couple of companies that they had the motto, democratize AI and democratize data science. So what is going to happen with those companies?
Yeah. And just to list, don't want to take too much time, but it was so many new features coming up there. So another part was that these kind of assistants can also call APIs then, of course, and it can do multiple function calls in a single action. And they have proper JSON output that is that's guaranteed to be proper JSON formatted. So it's very easy to integrate with whatever kind of service you have. It also has all these kind of multimodality capabilities. So it can do, of course, image input, which they can take an image and then ask questions about it. Just take a picture of a hamburger and please give me the recipe for this. I saw someone actually taking every 50 seconds, you take a screenshot of a game, like whatever kind of game you can have, and just ask ChatGPT or GPT-4 Turbo to please describe this image. And then they just had a sequence of these, and you basically had a real-time commentator for what's happening now on this real-time online game. And it works surprisingly well. And that can be the same for a sport. You can have a football game, and it can just take pictures from what's happening on the football field and just ask the GPT what's happening.
So you don't need to have someone commenting?
No.
Or the AI could do.
Goodbye to the anchors.
Yes.
So that's, image input, but it can also have image output. So then we have DALL-E 3 that it can use to create images. And of course, text to speech. So we can output not only text, but actually speech as well. And the text to speech generation was really good, the best I ever heard. So it really produced text and speech to a level that even 11 Labs and these other services that's out there has not been able to do. So it sounds supernatural, like human-like speech.
Could you tell that it was generated?
I think potentially because it speaks better than humans.
Yeah.
It has perfect
It's
grammar.
more well-spoken.
And well-spoken, yeah. No filler words and whatnot. So potentially by being too perfect, you can tell it's not human.
Maybe he has to add some of those,
Yes.
I don't know.
some ticks.
Dude.
Exactly.
But the implication now is crazy, right? Because now we are getting very, very close to any type of human computer interface we want for anything.
So it's both like text input, text output. It's audio input with Whisper 3. It's a new version of this Whisper, the awesome model from OpenAI to interpret text, for audio, and text-to-speech output.
So a guy like...
And then image input and output. So it's text, audio, and images, both input and output.
Like a guy like Gulan, who's like a professor at KTH. He needs to go back to his old job and really... I mean, like to be in human-computer interaction faculty right now at KTH must be mind-blowing. I mean, like there is no limit now to how, why do I need a keyboard, or when do I really need a keyboard, and when is it better to just have a conversation for anything like a CRM system. As a sales guy with a CRM system sitting in a car, why wouldn't he talk
you can speak
to
your
his CRM
software,
system?
speak to your system.
Hey man, bring up the next couple of leads. Okay, what do you think here I should go for? Should I, okay, I need to, who should I call now? What do you think? I was thinking about calling Anders. No, you have not called this guy in 2 weeks. I think you should better call him now. It's completely doable.
Finally, we have HAL 9000.
I'm a Jarvis guy. Are you a Jarvis guy, man?
Yeah, definitely Jarvis.
We're not far away from Jarvis now.
No. I was commenting on this like in May during the Data Innovation Summit, I think.
No, you were making that not as a joke, but as a prediction with a and then 6 months later, someone can build these systems now.
It was not hard to see because you're gonna have. So when I moved to Sweden in 2006, the first weeks were very horrible for me because it was. I arrived in February. It was cold, dark, and gray. So I read some books and I found these books from Philip Pullman. The Golden Compass and etc., which was like fantasy. In these books, and there is movies about this. In this fantasy series, you have basically all the humans have something which is called a demon, which is represented in some kind of a shape of an animal. So it's not like a spiritual demon, rather than it's a physical creature that you get when you're a kid. It appears from somewhere, and that is actually he's your buddy. He helps you with everything, right? Whenever you're doubt, he tells you what to do. You go fight together, you cry together, you do all the things together. That is actually where we are going, I think. That you will have your demon on the side. It's going to be called like, chatbot or whatever it is.
It's what you have in Snapchat. You have your AI friend or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're going to have somebody to, from the beginning, you will have like Elon Musk is not so far-fetched, is not far-fetched we're far from the thought like, why do every single of this LLM has to be serious? I want to have a LLM that will be funny. Maybe in the future we will have somebody that is kind, somebody that is a little bit demonic. I don't know, whatever is going to be. So, but they're going to be different, and you probably would like to have variety of them. So it's interesting what is coming. Apropos then, so let's finish this segment. So Elon Musk is not the only one that is actually starting to get into a game. There was another person as well who wanted to sign what is called the memorandum of not going ahead with AI, and that is of course Amazon. So Amazon, not only that they invested shitloads of money in Anthropic, now they're starting another project which is called Olympus, which is basically a large language model. And the head of this project actually in Amazon is Rohit Prasad, who was formerly head of Alexa, and now he directly reports to the CEO. So as you can see, they feel that they're a little bit lacking behind, so now everybody is in this game. So it's very important. Of course, there was a problem in China because they didn't have any representative that will be competition to ChatGPT. So now they have, in only 3 months, they created a startup which is basically called 01 AI. And already it has a valuation. Scientists who actually managed to get like a lot of smart people from all over around the world. to build it. And of course, Alibaba is the one big benefiter behind it. So the idea is actually to build like a large language model similar to ChatGPT. And if you look at it, it makes sense because, only China is like much bigger market than everything combined. So they can always have their own version of it. And then finally, in terms of investment, IBM now is announcing another 500 million venture to fund and invest a range of AI companies with a purpose of actually to democratize or to accelerate utilization of generative AI in enterprises. So they are investing in the startup companies. It can be whatever, but it needs to be what is called focusing on generative AI. So I think that right now, at some point of time, I was like, this is a hype, it will pass. I don't think this is a hype anymore. Everybody is on the generative AI. And I think this is the next, there is no going back to the traditional AI.
It is.
Yeah.
No, but why do you say going back?
Yes.
But now this is also
Going forward,
understanding what generative AI is all about, and then understanding what it's not about, and then what are you going back? They're going to go in parallel. Right?
Of course they are, but there is nothing about the rest of the things.
Not in news, but
in
in
news.
practice, I think it is not replacing; it is adding to.
Of course.
But Anders, for the next news section, I actually ask you to bring up a news that is not generative AI oriented.
That will be hard. I'll have to ask
Actually,
Grok about that.
Oh
Actually-
yeah, you can do AI act.
No. Of the technology breakthroughs, I think you
media
should
is
balance.
But media is just hyping.
Isn't
that,
it
so-
hard to find it even?
Yes,
That's the problem, right?